One of the things we love most about road trips is all the amazing life metaphors they present. Almost every encounter we've had on the road can circle back to an important life lesson or skill that we can use long after the trip is done. And we want to share some of our favorites. So, here are 5 life lessons you'll learn on a road trip.
It can be super frustrating when life throws you a detour, especially if it's unplanned. And in the moment, that stress can eclipse the whole reason you went on the trip in the first place, which is to soak up the journey. But the truth is, even if you plan the coolest road trip ever, there's gonna be things that you miss, things that you didn't even know to look for. And it's those weird, magical, serendipitous things that have a way of finding you when you're lost, but only if you're open to them.
There are times when you're going to feel lost in life, especially at big moments, like when you're about to graduate high school or college, or even thinking about switching majors for the first time. It's scary, but if you're not lost, you're not much of an explorer. It's actually the state of mind that moves you to grow. Explore, become your best future self. Take comfort in the feeling of being adrift. Lean into it, feel it, open your eyes and look around, and open yourself up to the possibilities you didn't even know existed. While you should definitely be open to experiencing what the road throws at you, it's important to also think about what lies ahead. For example, RVs are typically somewhere around 13 feet tall, which is helpful to know when you're driving under train bridges in Chicago. Whoops. But if you're approaching a bridge with a lower clearance, don't panic. Take that information and let it inform your journey as you reroute to a better road.
Too often, we find ourselves following a route that we were recommended without even questioning it. So before you take action in life, think about where you're going. Is this really where you want to end up? Is that the path that you really want to take? For instance, did you know that if you're interested in becoming an EMT, you can call up your local EMS and do a ride-along? Doing that kind of thing keeps you from wasting time on a path that actually isn't right for you.
When you're completely lost in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, don't feel awkward about asking for directions. I mean, you could, but you'd be stuck on the side for a really long time.
Yeah, and being on the road is an awesome excuse to talk to new people, but at the same time, when you're not on the road, it's still really important to develop those life skills. And at the end of the day, you don't need a big green RV or a production crew to reach out to somebody and see if they're willing to give you some guidance or find out how they got to where they are. You could just call somebody out of the blue who's in your dream job and see if they're willing to let you pick their brain. But if that feels like a lot, why not start with just some of your friends or your family or your teachers? I think what you'll find is that, generally speaking, most people are really willing to be open and to help you out.
When we're on the road, we're constantly making new connections, and it leads us to all different kinds of cool and unexpected places. These conversations all start by just reaching out when you're feeling lost.
As glamorous as a road trip looks on Instagram, they're not always that comfortable. You learn this really quickly when your RV's refrigerator burns out, or the hot water heater dies, or the headlights go out. But the truth is, being slightly uncomfortable for a short time is actually really great practice. It teaches you to adapt to new environments and challenges.
Not everything in life is going to be ideal, and it's important that you can ground yourself and find perspective in those moments, remembering that the discomfort will pass. And in the meantime, you can make the most of the situation. Plus, it also reminds you to appreciate the simple things in life.
For sure. When you're on the road for a long time, the journey can feel grueling. Suddenly, you'll want to have arrived at your final destination like yesterday. But don't give in to that feeling. Slow down and leave plenty of room for pit stops along the way. For instance, this one time, we were headed into Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and just trying to go straight to our campsite for the night. But at a stop sign, this guy popped his head out of the car next to us and said, "Y'all going to the pig wrestling?" And we were like, yeah, now we are. And we ended up following this guy to a pig wrestling tournament, and it blew our minds. Those are the places where the real memories are made, and you'll regret it if you don't say yes to them. Basically, we're saying the road is amazing at sending you opportunities that turn out even better than whatever you had planned.
Yeah, and life is the same way. It's not all about climbing the ladder. You can step off the path sometimes and try something totally new. Take a pit stop, leave room for the unexpected. That ladder will always be there. Make sure you don't lose sight of everything else. Isn't it cool how much you can learn from taking a road trip? So many life skills to be found just by getting out there and going on an adventure.
Yeah, and we're sending people like you out on road trips all the time. So click the link to see what kind of opportunities we have available right now. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.